Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we are diving straight into the absolutely fascinating 40-year evolutionary journey of the Mac operating system. Whether you're a lifelong power user or just kind of curious about how our digital workspaces came to be, we're going to trace the exact lineage of the software that completely redefined personal computing.
Picture this, it's 1984. Before this machine, interacting with a computer meant memorizing and typing complex text commands into a stark, blank screen. But the original Macintosh 128K shifted computing entirely into a friendly, visual world. It literally said hello, bringing the mouse-driven graphical interface to everyday users on a machine that, frankly, had less memory than a modern email.
But staring at this brilliant, yet highly constrained machine, we really have to ask ourselves, how exactly did this simple, black and white box conquer its massive early memory limitations to birth the deeply interconnected Apple ecosystem we all rely on today?
Well, to avoid getting lost in a giant phone book of incremental updates, we're breaking this explainer down into four main eras: the birth of the desktop, the OS X revolution, integrating the Apple ecosystem, and finally, Apple Silicon and tomorrow. Let's get right into it.
Part 1. Birth of the Desktop, the classic era, spanning 1984 to 2001. Our journey kicks off with System Software 1 back in '84, which was designed around that brand new one-button mouse, and builds all the way up to macOS 9 in 1999, the final bridge out of the classic era.
It is so wild to see that original hardware contrasted with its actual software. System Software 1 gave us the Finder, pull-down menus, and the trash. You can literally spot the very first desktop icons, the notepad, and the drag-and-drop metaphors that are so totally ingrained in our computing habits today, we don't even think about them.
Now, behind the scenes, Apple was fighting a constant uphill battle against crazy memory limits. I mean, imagine a computer that could only run one single app at a time. That finally changed in 1987 when System 5 brought us Multi-Finder for limited multitasking. By '91, System 7 made things feel way more modern with AppleScript and QuickTime Video. Fast forward through Steve Jobs' return with macOS 8 right up to macOS 9, which added modern staples like keychain passwords and multiple users. But eventually this aging architecture just hit an absolute brick wall.
Which brings us to Part 2, the OS X revolution, building the Unix foundation from 2001 to 2010.
Here is the absolute turning point. To move forward, Apple had to completely scrap the fragile classic system. Sure, the classic macOS was simple and friendly, but it crashed a lot. To survive, Apple replaced it with macOS X, built on a robust Unix foundation derived from Next Step. And guys, this wasn't just a fresh coat of paint, it gave the Mac protected memory. For the user, this meant a massive sigh of relief because if one app froze up, you no longer had to hard reboot your entire computer. It delivered the rock-solid stability required for the 21st century.
The 2000s were totally defined by a rapid progression of big cat releases. Starting with Cheetah in 2001, Apple aggressively refined this new architecture and rolled out that futuristic, highly translucent Aqua interface.
What's really crazy is how these big cat updates sneakily introduce the daily tools we absolutely cannot live without today. Cheetah and Puma gave us the dock. In 2005, Tiger dropped the magic of Spotlight search and dashboard widgets on us. Leopard was this massive leap, bringing Time Machine backups and spaces. And then in 2009, Snow Leopard makes a highly strategic, ruthless move, dropping older PowerPC support entirely, just to squeeze every single ounce of speed out of Intel processors. Moving right along to Part 3, integrating the Apple ecosystem from 2011 to 2019. As the iPhone absolutely dominated the tech world in the 2010s, we start seeing those brilliant iOS ideas bleeding directly into the desktop, tracking from Lion in 2011 through Yosemite, Sierra, and up to Catalina.
It's super cool to map out exactly when your favorite features jump from your pocket over to your desk. Lion gave us Launchpad and iPad-style full-screen apps. By Yosemite, your Mac and iPhone were finally deeply talking to each other with handoff. Then Sierra casually drops Siri onto the desktop along with Universal Clipboard and Apple Pay. Finally, Catalina completely dismantles the heavy iTunes app into streamlined mobile-style apps for music, podcasts, and TV, while also throwing in Sidecar. The walls between your devices were officially gone.
And that brings us to Part 4, Apple Silicon and Tomorrow, spanning 2020 to 2026.
Looking from 2020 into our future projections for 2026, Apple pulls off a monumental transition away from Intel to custom Apple Silicon,
pushing us toward incredibly futuristic software design.
Big Sur completely changed the game in 2020. Ending nearly 20 years of OS X point releases, we jumped straight to version 11 with a major iOS-style redesign and the start of Apple Silicon support. This new hardware synergy paved the way for features that honestly feel like magic, like seamlessly dragging your mouse between your Mac and iPad using Monterey and Ventura's universal control. Sonoma brought us desktop widgets, and now Sequoia is pushing the boundaries even further with seamless iPhone mirroring and injecting Apple intelligence right into the operating system.
Which puts us right on the bleeding edge. Apple's latest line, mapped for updates into 2026, is macOS 26 Tahoe. It marks a total shift to year-style numbering and introduces the stunning new liquid glass design language. It just goes to show that even after 40 years, Apple is still fundamentally iterating on how our digital workspaces actually look and feel.
When you look at this entire 40-year evolution, from that simple black and white hello screen to a highly secure Apple Silicon powerhouse rocking liquid glass design, it leaves us with one thrilling question. As our devices become even more intelligent and connected, what will the next 40 years of interaction with our machines actually look like? Thanks for joining me for this explainer, guys. Keep asking questions, keep exploring, and I'll catch you in the next one.